What is going on, everybody?
Hey.
Happy Tuesday. We got our comic relief as usual. I am Justin, aka KnowGoodComics. We got my man Morbius Comics with me as well.
What's going on,
Morbius?
Welcome.
Chilling,
What's going
man.
on, Justin? How you doing, brother?
Chilling, man. Doing good.
Yeah, man. That's what's up.
Another week, man. These weeks flying by, which is great. I'll take it.
It's amazing, man. I love it, man.
For sure.
You know?
So anybody just catching this, whether it's live or the replay, obviously make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to Morbius. If you haven't already, he's already been launching some videos now, so make sure you check that out. The link is in the description below. But before we get into tonight's topic, of course, we got a guest tonight. It's our third guest of the show, which is cool. Bro. So let's bring him in, and good friend of yours, K Crash. Yes, so here he is.
K Crash, what's going on, brother?
What's up, Crash?
Peace, man. What's up, fellas?
Chilling, man.
Chilling, brother. So
good to be here.
Hell yeah.
How you been, brother? How's everything going?
Good. Can't complain. You know, living life.
That's what's up, man. Hey, man,
nice.
Thank you for coming on. You already know. Me and Crash, for those who don't know, we go back. Crash is actually, for those who don't know, he's actually my comic partner in crime for the past, going on 5 years now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we've been working together a lot. We actually send each other books constantly. We've been doing it from day one, man. He's also very supportive and very knowledgeable. And I love always talking to Crash, man, because he's always like, yeah, but you ain't look at this, you ain't see this, and I'm like, oh, word,
Nice,
So and this guy, I call him, he got like the Spidey sense, man, because every time he'd be like, yo, did you pick up this book? Nah. 6 months later, it's like $100. He's like, I told you.
I told you.
I told you should have picked it up.
He tried to warn you,
man.
Spidey
senses went off. So now when he be like, you picked it up, I'm like, yo, I got 2 copies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that. Oh man. Crash, introduce yourself. Let the people know a little bit of your background, where you're from, how long you've been collecting.
Yeah.
Just give us some info about yourself.
All right. Well, I started collecting in junior high school. And the way I got put on, I was an artist. I was an aspiring cartoonist. It's something I always wanted to do as a kid. So I remember it was in junior high school, a classmate introduced me to comic books. Like, he showed me the Marvel Universe comic books. And the reason those comic books made such an impact on me, it was because as an artist, I wanted to draw characters standing in poses. And of course, if you're trying to draw from panels, they're doing all this action. So when I saw that, I was like amazed. Like, oh, I can draw this guy. They're showing his, his costume completely. Oh, I can draw this. So that's when I started getting into it. But then at that point, I said, let me go to the comic store to see if I can find another one of these books. And that's when I saw my first X-Men comic book. I saw it and I was like, wow. And I ended up picking that up. So my first X-Men book, I started collecting X-Men during the John Romita Jr. era.
Nice.
And then, of course, as I got older, I started pulling back issues. But before I get too deep into that, so when I was younger, instead of going into art, I went into music, and I was doing music for a while. I was part of an underground hip hop group in New York City called the Arsonists.
Yes, sir.
So fast forward, and I still stay in touch with the guys. Oh yeah, I drew the logo. Like I said, I'm an artist, so that was part of my contribution to the group. I was also one of the producers, and I also did a bit of MCing. But so fast forward years later, I still stay in touch with the guys, of course. Destroy with the Show Off Your Gems, Q Unique. I'm still staying in touch with him. Yes, so Q Unique was the one that actually introduced me to Morbius, because Morbius was doing music with Q Unique. So that's how me and Morbius met, because he knew me as an artist, and he was like, yo, I'm looking to make an album. I want to hire you to do the cover. So I was like, all right, cool. So then I started asking him questions, because usually with all my clients, when I do work for them, I ask them questions so I can produce something that they're going to like. So when I started asking him questions like, what do you like? It's this, that, and the third. That's when he started talking about comic books. So I was like, oh, I'm a comic book head too. So as I was telling Justin earlier, behind the scenes, a lot of the cats in the hip hop community don't really talk about comic books. They just talk about hip hop. It's just the hip hop thing. And it isn't until we got older that we got more comfortable talking about other aspects of our life. And you start finding out, oh, wait a second, you do comic books as well? So
the nerdy side.
Right. Exactly.
You try to hide that geeky side of yourself.
Yeah.
You know
right.
what I mean? I'm tough.
Right.
Hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So that's how we linked up with the comic book thing, and we got really close with it when it comes to that. And then we just, even though Morbius started collecting back in the days, he wasn't as consistent as I was with my collection. When I started, I kept going. He stopped and started doing other things, and then got back to it. Right. So my collection, and me and Morbius was talking about this not too long ago. As far as collectors go, every collector is different, and they have their reasons of why they collect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, the value in my collection is that a lot of, I would have to say 80% of my books, I bought them when they came out. So I have the from X-Men, I have a giant size X-Men, and I remember getting that. How old was I? I might have been 15 when I got that book, and I thought it was expensive because I think I paid it was $10 I paid for it. And I was like, it was expensive for me.
I'm done.
I'm only like 15, 16. I'm like, I'm paying $10 on a comic.
You kidding
but
me?
No, remember, at that time, comic books was 60 cents, bro. So for a 16-year-old on a paper route,
it was a lot.
Trying to spend $10 on a 60-cent book. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I was like, F it. I got it anyway. Well, actually, let me rewind that a little bit. The reason I got the original GSX is because I had gotten the reprint. So I thought I was somebody when I got the reprint. I was like, yeah, I got this. And then once I started getting deep into my collection, it's like, oh no, that's the second print. So that's why I was like, oh, let me get the first print. So anyway, so my goal at that point was to get everything from GSX on. So I have that, except for 94. I have GSX, then 95 through 554.
All the way up.
How did you miss that one?
I know, right?
That's expensive now.
Hell yeah.
That's what it was. It was, even back then, that was pretty expensive. It was actually, if I remember correctly, it was more expensive than GSX at one point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I was too little, too late, and there's no way I'm getting that now. No way. And
I say never say never.
Right.
I say never say never, man, because you don't know. You just don't. I own an X-Men 1 signed by Stan Lee, and I just got that last year. Never thought in my life I'd ever own that book, and I won it in a raffle, as you just mentioned.
Right. Unless I get it in a raffle, I ain't getting that anytime soon.
You never know.
So my books, like I said, the value in my focus on my collection is always to spend as little as possible, because I started off spending very little. I never really got into a habit of spending a lot of money on comic books. It was always, I spent very little on it. So I know Morbius always thought I was cheap. Like, yo, why you being such a cheap bastard? And I was like, well, no, it's just, that's how I run my collection. For me, if I have to spend,
on the spot, bro.
So I have these rules as a collector. I say right now, of course it was different back in the day, but right now as a collector, I say to myself, I'm not spending more than $10 on a current book, and I'm not spending more than $25, $30 on an old book.
That's crash.
That's my price range.
Yeah.
And as Morbius told you, I like to get ahead of the game.
Hell yeah.
If people are talking about the book, that means it's too late for me to buy it.
Definitely.
Yep.
At that point. You know what I'm saying?
This guy's like master speculation over here, bro.
It's true.
So at some point when I became an adult, I started seeking out more comics that were more like lower print runs, unique books, one shots. I started picking up, things that I thought were going to be rare, that weren't going to have a lot of stuff, a lot of print runs or a lot of popularity. So I started getting those rare books. I missed out on the Spawn ones because when I started collecting Spawn from day one, and I stopped at around 113, 114. And, other things started happening in life. I started doing other things, and, you just no longer focus on your collection at some point in your life, and then you get back to it. So I missed out those low print runs that Spawn had between like 160 and 2 something.
Well, that's perfect, because this is what we're talking about tonight is low print runs, some of the different values based on them, and just the scarcity of certain things. So I think that kind of leads us in perfectly. I do want to mention, I want to give a shout out to the chat real quick.
Yes.
But I do want to just mention too, Crash, I put all your information in the description below, so your website's in there. the links to your Instagram page and everything that you sent me before. So everybody who's watching right now, we got 14 people, by the way. Appreciate all you guys.
Every person in here. Shout out to you.
So,
thank you for stopping by.
Yeah,
and if you're watching the replay, thank you also for checking us out. And make sure you sub up, follow Crash right here. You know what I mean? Give the brother some love.
I'll do a quick rundown. We got TM Nerdy Station, brother. What's going on, man?
Station.
We got Tim Stacy in the house talking about artists before. What's going on, Tim? Good to see you. We got Doug Bratton. What's going on, Doug? Welcome, welcome. We got PJ, Paul Morris. PJ. What's up? What's up?
Slab Smasher.
Hell yeah, man. We got Scheme in the house. He was just on a couple weeks ago with us.
What up, Scheme?
Great to see you.
Shout out real quick to Scheme, because I do want to say that this topic actually was introduced. Well, actually was brought to me by Scheme. Hit me up and he was like, "Hey guys, I think this would be a dope idea because it's something that's on his mind." So I just want to put that out there. Shout out to Scheme for today's topic, man.
Appreciate your Scheme. Absolutely. We got Perry Comics in the house as well. Perry and Chamorro Cinemas. What's going on, Chamorro Station?
What's going on, bro? Station, baby.
My brother Fable too. Station, brother.
Station, brother.
What up, Fable?
We had PJ saying Ramita era was this when he started too on X-Men, as you were mentioning that before. Yeah. It is a perfect time to get into that. Remore Power, what's up? What's up?
What's up? What's up?
Oh yeah, that's right. I did Ali's comeback. That's right.
Nice.
Just so you guys know, I'm an active graphic designer, so I'm still doing stuff.
Yeah,
nice.
Check out the website, guys. Hit them up.
We got TJ here, Thomas Jackman. What's up?
Thomas Jackman, what's going on, man? Thank you for stopping by.
I got issues, Chris.
What's up, brother? Man?
All right, so I think we're all caught up on the chat at the moment. I apologize if I missed. It did jump on me, so I apologize if I missed you. But obviously, guys, keep chatting. If you guys have any comments or anything on the topic tonight, put it in the chat. I'll light it up here, and maybe we'll talk about it. Let's jump into this topic then. Oh, we need to kick this off with a cheers.
We need to do it right,
as
guys.
always.
So, cheers, salute to everybody, and salute to everybody in the chat that also has there with them. So if you're sipping on something, salute to you too.
Cheers.
So what are you gentlemen drinking?
Of course, like every time, Clockwork, Hennessy, VSOP.
Yeah, I have Woodford Reserves.
Woodford Reserve. What you got there?
And I got the good old Gentleman Jack and Coke.
Ooh.
Nice.
Ooh.
Very nice. It's a nice, clean looking bottle too.
You know, right? You got to CGC that, bro.
Oh no! Oh gosh!
So I could crack.
I saw your CGC video, bro. Morbius.
Right, yeah.
Right
I'm sorry, the slab video when you pull apart. Yeah,
breaking them open.
Yeah, man. I got a little war wound, bro. It was crazy.
I saw that.
You saw that.
Your blood, sweat, and tears into that.
You know what I'm saying? Sweat, and tears. The CGC gods came back at me.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Let's just jump right into it.
Yep.
Crash, man. I'm just gonna bring it to you. What's your feeling on this? Like, what's your take on these low print runs and the value that it creates just based on being a low print run or a scarcity or vice versa? You know, what's your take on it?
Well, I mean, there's two. I look at it two different ways. Sometimes I feel conflicted on situations like this because on one hand, I look at it as, okay, I totally understand why it should be a high value because of the scarcity. I mean, that's how usually things work. If you can't get it and there's a demand for it, then of course it's going to be worth more. So I kind of.
What you just hold on. What you just said right there. If you have a demand for it at the same time, I feel like there has to be. Yeah, I feel like there has to be like the combination of the two.
Right. That's my thing. It's like
that goes without.
It's a scarcity, and if there's a demand, but let's just say by them putting it out there and saying, hey, this is scarce, now they're creating this demand, like they're creating this want for this book, because now they're telling you have all these apps, like I don't want to say names, and they're telling you like, hey, this book is scarce, so it's worth money now. And it's like, yeah, but who that's what my thing is on that. It's like, if there's no demand for the book, so then why is it so valuable? Yeah, it's cool, it's scarce, so then hunt it down, go look for it. But not because per se demand,
like there should be something special about it too.
Right, exactly. Like unless there's a demand for it, like you said. But then again, by putting it out there, that starts to create that demand and that FOMO, and you know, oh, I gotta get this book now because now it's scarce, and then everything starts to jack up just on a book that nobody gave a fuck about.
That's how the market works. I mean, someone has. What those people are attempting to do is they're attempting to lead the market. They want to say, okay, this is a scarce thing. But think about it. It has to start someplace, because if nobody knows it's scarce, somebody's going to jump up and say, hey, by the way, these books are scarce. And then you let the market do what they do. For example, the Spawn print run. I had no idea that those low print runs in Spawn were actually low print runs because I had stopped collecting it. Right. You see what I'm saying? So at some point, somebody has to say, yo, there's this is low. You know what I'm saying? This is a low print run. It's gonna be, and then all of a sudden, as a collector, you already know, your spidey senses start to go off. Because I know for me, when I see something like I mentioned before, if it's a one shot or it's gonna be a limited print run, I'm definitely gonna get that book. As a matter of fact, real quick story, I found the book that when I saw it, it said that it was gonna be a limited print run. And that was the Spider-Man #1 black and white cover with Sarah Pichelli, I think it is. Yeah. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that book, but I had just met Morbius at this time. Yeah. And when I saw that book, I said, you know what? I'm going to get two. I sent one to him and I kept one. That book the other day, I don't know how accurate it is, but
this 3 years ago,
it's about 3, yeah, when it first came out. When the book first came out.
Yeah. I was actually looking for that book. I wanted to show it because I had a feeling you might bring it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, because the reason that is worth as much as it's worth now is because it was a low print run. Purposely, they said we're only going to print but X amount of joints of these. Right. So it was a limited print run. So that's part of the reason why it's so valued right now.
But here's my argument with it though, or my side of how and I get it. I totally get what you're saying. What if the book is garbage?
Right.
Because to me, I feel like, and like Morbius saying, not to drop any names, but there are individuals out there who will point at any one given book and say, this Spider-Man book, there was only 2,000 books printed of this Spider-Man book. And I'll be like, well, what is it? And I look at it and it's got some terrible art on it. It's got no good story if I read it. There's no uniqueness to it. There's no first appearance. There's no significance within the story that ties to something bigger. It's literally just like, to me, I feel like that's me going outside and saying, Morbius, I found this rock, and this rock is so rare. You want to buy it? Because this bad boy, you can't find this rock anywhere.
You can't find it nowhere.
Like then I feel like it's promoting a bad sense of the market or putting out bad information, basically. You know, just because it's, I guess the thing I'm saying is just because it's rare doesn't mean it should be worth a lot of money necessarily. Right. So many other factors have to go into it, which you're saying, you are saying like there are other things that have to, be of importance to you. But like for me, I don't read Spawn. I don't really care for Spawn personally. So if you went and told me like, if you were like a salesperson, and you were like, hey, I got this book for sale. It's Spawn, whatever, 140, whatever. And there's only so many prints of it. You can't find it. I'm just gonna be like, all right, cool. I don't read Spawn, but right. You know what I mean? Like I'll move on.
It all comes down to what was the purpose of you collecting? Why are you picking up books? If you're picking it up for investment purposes, that makes total sense to do something like that. Because think about this. The value market isn't necessarily driven by good stories or good art. That's not what drives the value of some of these books. Unfortunately, I'm just playing devil's advocate here because as a musician that was part of the underground scene, there's a whole bunch of great music that never sees the light of day. And you have a whole bunch of stuff that's out there. Everybody gets it because it's easily digestible. At some point, I realized that it's hard to digest some of the underground music because it has so many layers that you have to get through to appreciate, which is why the masses don't really enjoy stuff like that. And it's the masses that drive the market, really, at the end of the day. And I'm not saying that the masses start driving the market, but what gets that market booming is when more people get into it, not just a few people. So therefore, then that being said, to be more realistic, we're in a capitalist society. So good stuff isn't why people value things. It's why us as collectors buy stuff. So of course, because we're buying it because we love it, and people that don't know jack about comics say, well, he knows a lot about comics. He bought that book, so now I'm going to buy that because he said it was dope. Or if an investor tells him, hey, you better get on this because it's, you know, it's going to be worth a lot at some point, and they do it strictly for the money, then that's another story. But there are so many different types of collectors out there. And you have to make room for all of them, because whether you like it or not, they all help drive the market.
Right. Yeah, I think it's just what I look at. Like, I've seen somebody recently post, and I use the Spider-Man as example because they posted this, you know, supposed to be a rare Miles Morales book of some sort. I wasn't very familiar with it. It wasn't his first appearance. So to me, if it's not his first appearance, you know, I would prefer to spend my money on the first appearance, even if the first appearance has a million print copies. Not that there's a million out there, but you know, if knowing that there's a lot of print of the first Miles Morales versus his other book of Miles that's not a significant issue, you know, to me, and again, this is just me personally, and you're right, everybody has their own goals and their own, like, what they value. So for me, like, if I am going after what I think is going to be the more important book at the end of the day, it's going to be the book that has more printing, but it's a first appearance, versus the non-first appearance, but there's less of it, you know?
Right.
If I had to choose one, you know, if I was going after what I want, like you're saying, invest your money into, I personally would prefer to invest my money into the first appearance of Miles Morales, which obviously is easy to say now because it's all, you know, spiking and everything. But, you know, even before that, you know,
personal preference. At the end of the day, that's what it is. It's all personal preference. So for us to sit here and say, like you said, hey, I'm not interested in Spawn. I don't even like that. But you know what? There's a bunch of other people that think there's value to that. So at the end of the day, it has value for somebody. And then what happens is, if it has value for enough of those somebodies, then that's what helps drive the market. It's that you sit there and say, like, for example, I'll buy a book because I thought it was a dope cover, right? Not necessarily worth anything. But then all of a sudden, a couple years later, it goes up. So it's like, okay, well, I got lucky that what I like, everybody else likes regarding that particular issue. So then it's just a matter of, it's the luck of the draw that your tastes start to coincide with the masses' tastes.
Well, let me jump in on this and say pretty much what goes Spawn. I'm a Spawn fan. You know, I collect Spawn. You know, I read Spawn. And to me, if I find out that a book is rare because, you know, it's scarce, you know, I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to try to look for it to add it to my collection. You know what I mean? Let's go station, baby. You know, and I just feel like it's like you said, Crash. It's a preference to the collector. You know, Justin over here doesn't care for Spawn. I do. So if he hears about a book, that same guy comes up to Justin and it's like, hey, here's this Spawn, you know, 183 that's exploding right now. And it's like, hey, this is rare. This is book. Justin is going to be like, I don't care. I don't care for Spawn. Read it. But for me, you know, being a Spawn lover, I'm going to be like, fuck yeah, hell yeah. How can I get my hands on this book? It's rare. You know, I can add that rarity to my collection, to my PC, which is what we, you know, as a collector, that's something that's big. You know, to pull out a rare book that's like low print or not such and such. So you have your give and take on it, but it all depends on, you know, the collector and what it is that your preference is. But also, you do have books like Justin had mentioned when we were speaking, you know, Hulk 181. There's a lot of fucking Hulk 181, man. But that book is exploding. It's like, but there's so many of them on the market. Right. You know,
scarcity doesn't matter. Yeah.
Doesn't matter on that. You know what I mean?
For that book.
For that book. For that book. You know, and there are others. There are others. You know, that they're out there.
Absolutely.
You know, and but they have a high value. But yet you could find hundreds and hundreds of thousands of them books. You know, and so it all goes back to that. To me, that's what it goes back to. It goes back to the collector. It goes back to your preference and what it is that you're looking for to add to your PC. You know, that's how I see it.
Right.
You know, and but at the same time, you know, you see books like, again, like what Justice was saying, even though I'm a Spawn fan, I still feel that there are books, you know, when I look at in these key apps, you know, I look at it and it's like, at the same time, I'm thinking, okay, it's scarce, but what is not, matter of fact, Todd McFarlane didn't even do the cover. You know what I mean? Like it's like one of those books that, you know, you're like, just like, huh? You know, and so as a Spawn lover, I do feel kind of jaded by it, where you're just like, damn, like, okay, I get it. I want to add it to my collection, but there's nothing special about it other than it being scarce. So that book to me should not be worth, you know, $50. Right. I should be able to get that book at least a little over cover price. I get it. You know, I'll pay $8 for the book. I'll pay $10 for it. You know, but I shouldn't have to pay $50 to $100 for a book that has nothing. It doesn't add to the story, doesn't take to the story. The artwork is really not popping. You know, the main creator is not even in the book. You know, so it's like, you know, why should I really, you know, invest in this book just because they're telling me that it's a low print run, and because of that I should chase it. That's where I have a problem with, you know what I mean? And still I'm a Spawn lover, you know, so I fight with myself over this. It's like I agree to disagree, you know. It's like it's just
it's definitely it's definitely a give and take, or a push and pull. And obviously I know we're saying this a lot, but it does depend on like what you really want to get into. But I do feel like there are these random books, and I mean random. Oh, nice. That I feel like there are some random books that are it just feels, I don't know, man, it just feels like wrong to me. Well, I guess the more so is what you're saying too, is like you're saying like these, you know, these apps, and we'll just say the internet, right? Certain locations on the internet are suggesting to buy something. First off, I don't like that in general, the idea of like, hey, you need to buy this, you should do this, because at the end of the day, I don't want to tell anybody how to collect per se.
Exactly.
You know, it's different, you know, to say it in a way of just providing information. So
right,
you know,
if you put it out there as a general information,
you know,
I get that.
But if someone came to me, I mean, Morbius, if you told me like, you know, look, I know you don't like this Spawn book, but it's, you know, it's super rare, man, and you should buy it. Like, it's to me, I'm not gonna grab that. Or even honestly, even if you said it was something I liked, even if you said it was an X-Men book, and you just said it's a really rare, there's only so many copies of it, and I'll be like, well, what happens with, like, what is special about it? And you say, nothing. I mean, like, does someone die? Does someone new show up? Is there some? And you're just like, well, no, it's an unknown writer, unknown artist. Like, there's nothing great, but there's not a lot of them. If you're just telling me there's not a lot, then I'm gonna be like, all right, well, yeah, like I won't. if I can find it for cheap, sure, but I'm not gonna go out of my way and put you know, a good amount into it while I would rather put it into the first appearances, like we were saying before.
Well, it seems that the main issue both of you guys have is a combination of personal preference and capitalism. When you combine those two things, the result is things that you guys don't like. It's like, why are you doing this and why are you doing that? Because this is a capitalist society. There's always going to be somebody that's going to say, you know what, I want to make a quick buck. So you know what, I'm going to tell everybody, go buy this, go buy that. Now, if whether you buy that or not is a different story. You know what I'm saying? But if enough people are going to go ahead and buy it, then you have the FOMO thing. That's how the stock market works. You know what I'm saying? The stock market rises and dips based on fear and confidence, not always actual information. Sometimes it's just the fear of something about to happen that may not happen that'll crash the stock market.
Yeah, I mean, look at Mephisto. Anybody see Mephisto? But yet that book is exploding. Why?
Yeah, that was a whiff.
Why? Because there was speculation that he was going to appear in WandaVision.
And he didn't. And the book still is growing. It's still taking off on false speculation. You know what I mean? And that's something that annoys me, because it's like you got people chasing this book thinking like, oh, yeah, all this stuff, that because they're saying something that's going to happen, and it doesn't happen. You don't see it. Omega Red. Oh, yeah, he's going to come out in Black Widow. Oh, no, not forget Black Widow, because actually he's not coming out in Black Widow, but he might come out in Winter Soldier. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you just never know, you know, and it's like, okay, now, if you noticed online on eBay right now, I saw that book going for thousands, and it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? On these speculations.
Let me ask you something, though, okay? I see what you're saying, right? But what if you own that book and you got it for nothing, and now all of a sudden it's worth a whole bunch?
I got Mephisto. I got Mephisto. I got his first appearance. I got that first appearance. And I got the Omega Red.
So what's your issue with it being valued so high?
Because to me, that's not the point. I didn't collect it for that. I got it because it's,
I know that.
That's not but my thing is that it's not about me. It's about everyone else that doesn't have the book and is trying to get it based on thinking that, hey, this book is actually, is going to gain traction because he's going to be in the movie or he's going to be in the show and it's going to help their collection grow. And that's how I see it. I'm not thinking about my collection per se. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it's more, I'm more community orientated. You know what I'm saying? In the sense that I'm thinking about the community and what they got to go through to get this book. And then you realize like all this false speculation. And now we know that book, it was only a matter of time before it starts to drop in value. You know what I mean? It's only a matter of time because it's not going to appear in Winter Soldier. It didn't come out in WandaVision. And now everyone is saying like, hey, I mean, not Winter Soldier. I'm sorry. They're saying Doctor Strange 2. He might come out in Doctor Strange 2 now. So now they threw the fish hook on that one now. You know what I mean? So everybody like, oh, well, we got to wait for Doctor Strange. And hopefully in Doctor Strange, he comes out and all this money I spent on this book is going to be worth it. And then when he comes out, it's like, oh, shit. Yeah, when he doesn't, I mean, you're like, oh, fuck. I spent all this money on this book, and then nothing about it. Nothing happens. And then slowly, we know that book is going to start to trickle down, and that's the problem I have with it. Where you have all this, false speculation on books. I mean, I know we're jumping to a speculation now, but it just like it ties into that because it's kind of like the rarity thing. You know what I mean? It's it's gonna be rare, because you better get on that book and get it now before you can't find it because he's gonna be in this movie. And this all that's what I don't like. You know what I mean? I really prefer that they don't do this type of thing because there's a lot of people out there that really, go hard on their collection and they end up, not being able to pay some bills and get in a funky situation. You know what I mean? Based on this bullshit. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's what I think. You know me, I'm a people person, bro, Crash. You know me. I think about the people. I'm about the people. You know what I mean? I went to jail for the people many a times, so it's like,
Well, that being the case, Morbius, because you're of the people. See, I'm the same way, and I used to get headaches when I was doing the underground thing because the same opinion you have of comics is the same opinion I used to have with underground hip hop music. I used to get really pissed off at the commercial market and be like, what's wrong with these people? They're exploiting hip hop. What's wrong? They're doing all this, that, and the third. So what ended up happening for me is I had to end up being okay with that and saying, you know what?
All right, hold
on. This
little
underground community that we have, these are the people that I appreciate. All right.
Okay, right. Justin, hold that right there.
Yeah.
What Thomas just said right now. If people aren't trying to get it, then it has no value. I don't agree with that.
It's all about personal preference.
Because
that's what we said.
Right. That now it all goes back right. It's personal preference. It's personal. Now you see that right there. Much love to you, Thomas. Thank you for bringing this up because this is something that, to me, I just it cuts to my core when people say that a book has no value to you. You know what I mean? But you can't tell that to somebody who, like, let's say me. I don't care for Peach Momoko. You know what I mean? I don't care for none of her books.
but see, Morbius, exactly.
My desk over here.
I'm glad you brought, Morbius. I'm glad you brought that up because that's exactly what I was gonna say. That it's all about personal preference.
There's a lot of people who care about that book, and to them it has value. It has value to them, but to me it doesn't have value. I don't care if it's like $200, $300. I could care less. I'll wipe my ass with that. You know what I'm
Morbius,
saying? I don't care.
One can say the same thing. I know I'm gonna get skewered for this, and this is okay. Let me just say it. You can actually say the same thing about Hulk 181. All right, when it first came out,
we fight.
They were like, "Yo, what's the value in this? Fam. Why is this valuable? What's so special about this issue?"
Right.
So what? You know what I'm saying? Right. So, but then what happens is because of the whole FOMO thing, and people start putting it out there and saying, "Yo, this is dope," and then there are other people that don't know much about it that try and jump on the bandwagon. They're gonna be like, oh, "Okay, I'm gonna support this too." Similar to the whole Peach Momoko thing. There's enough people out there that don't have your opinion,
of course.
So, all right, but that's the thing is that proves my point that it's all about personal preference. And although you're saying, F all of this, I'm sure that at the time when Hulk 181 came out, You're like, why is this so special? But at some point, you had enough people to say, yo, this is dope, this is dope, this is dope. And then when it crossed generations, all of a sudden you got people that weren't part of that previous generation that are just taking the word and the hype and saying, yo, this is the shit. So then it adds to it. And then remember, all these people that you hate that are doing this stuff for the wrong reasons, it's a double-edged sword, because that's exactly why there are other people that appreciate comics more than those other folks. So it's a double-edged sword that, yeah, there's going to be a group of people that aren't genuine with that, all that stuff, but they help drive the market. It's a yin and a yang. The underground market became more noticed in hip-hop because the commercial market was ignoring it. And at some point, when people got into hip-hop that were new to hip-hop, and maybe the first hip-hop track they listened to was a Puffy track, they had the presence of mind to say, you know what? I dig this more than the surface. Let me do my research and see what's out there. And those are the fans that you should be focused on. Those are the ones that you should appreciate. Forget all these other folks, because those people, they're not in your stratosphere. Right. Listen, and you shouldn't care about those folks anyway.
Listen, going back to Peach Momoko, now you know that for a fact there's a lot of people who follow Peach Momoko just because people are following Peach Momoko. It's not even about,
that's my point.
It's not even about like them, you know, actually liking her stuff. You know, it's just that they want to be part of that bandwagon. You know, they want to be part of that. We're tribal mentality. We're a society that we're a tribal mentality. So when we see a group of people moving a certain direction, we want to be a part of that for some reason. We want to feel like we have value as well, and we want to be a part of that. You know what I mean? So I get that. There's a lot of people who do follow her just on the fact that people follow her. You know, and they want to just join that, you know, crowd and be part of that and say, yeah, you Peach Momoko, Peach Momoko, Peach Momoko, Peach Momoko, yeah, Peach Momoko. And it's like, no, fuck that. You know what I mean? Let's keep it real right here. You know what I mean?
But Moby, see, at some point, I believe that's what happened with Hulk 181. Because in my personal opinion, I believe Hulk.
You can't say that, Crash, because Hulk 181, you're talking about, bro, Wolverine. Like,
okay, so this is my point.
This ain't like
my point is, in my personal opinion,
character.
No,
you know what I mean?
I get it, but in my personal opinion,
bro, like he was like,
in my personal opinion, the value is in Hulk 180, not 181, because Hulk 180 is when you first saw Wolverine.
Okay,
so for me, so this is where it comes. This is where it's all personal preference. See, for me as a collector, I never understood why Hulk 181 was so valuable over Hulk 180.
Me either. And honestly, and Justin, we all agree on that. Hulk 180 is his first appearance. I don't care what anybody say. That's his first. That's why it's on my wall, because that's the first book I got. I didn't get Hulk 181 first. I got Hulk 180 because I felt that was his first appearance. Hulk 181 was, holy shit, I need to complete my run. And now everybody wants this book. And now it's becoming out of my range. You know what I mean? That's where Hulk 181 came in. And of course, it's a beautiful cover. That cover is amazing to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got Hulk 180, Hulk 182, but I'm missing Hulk 181 because of the only fact that everyone else gave that value to it. They just put the stamp on it and was like, that's his first appearance. That's the one that's gonna blow up. But I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
I know, I get you, but what you're saying, the comparison that I'm making is the same exact thing with Peach Momoko. Maybe the next generation, like when your daughter is maybe 40 years old, who's to say that they're gonna be like, hey, if you got a Peach Momoko book, it's worth $10,000 because she was the ultimate artist back in the 2000s. You see what I'm saying? Because enough time has passed by for that narrative to become commonplace. Same thing with Hulk 181. I'm sure back in the day, Hulk 180 was more of the shit. But then when people started chiming in and speculating and said, well, no. The difference of opinion is, oh, no, that was just his first, what is it? What do they say? Not his first appearance, his first, the Peach hate is back.
Man,
but no, it makes sense though, because it goes back to why.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not about hating. Because you know what? Hold on a second. I'm gonna shut you down, Albert. Hold on.
No,
my bad, Alberto.
I don't think he's being literal.
Nah, he's just messing.
Right. It's just, you know, it's joking that the hate is back. I don't think it's literal, you know.
Now we get literal, son. Because one thing I'm gonna say right now, I never said hate. That's one thing, and that's I'm gonna say right now. That's a term I don't like. Is hate, because when you have an opposite opinion to somebody else, they call it hate. And no, it's not. It's my opinion. It's what I feel. You get what I'm saying? It's not hating. I'm not hating Peach Momoko. Now, hate becomes when you like something and I disagree with it. For you to dismiss what I'm saying, you call it hate. It's not hate. Let's get that straight here, okay? It's not hate because look. What's this? What's this?
That is some beautiful Peach Momoko that you got in your hand there.
That's a dope Peach Momoko. And this is the third cover that I like from Peach Momoko. Hundreds that she got. I don't feel none of them.
When you own 3 books by an artist, you are officially a diehard
Justin,
fan. So,
me and you are gonna have words after this. Nah, but you know what I'm saying?
We hear you. No,
it's not about hating an artist. It's just about having your opinion about it and not really feeling, bro. All right. Watch this, Justin.
Yeah.
Rob Liefeld. Crash. Rob Liefeld. All right. You see
Don't
what
get
I'm
me
saying?
started on him, bro.
You see what I'm saying?
Don't get me started on him, man.
You see what I'm saying?
All right, yeah, no. I hear you.
I'm saying?
Let me just clarify for Albert's sake that he's joking with the hate. We know that you don't hate.
I know that.
He's just throwing it out there, but
don't
you don't gotta.
Serious, guys. Do not take me serious. I love to really feed into all this stuff and make it. It's entertainment, guys. This is entertainment.
We know, brother. We know.
We know, man. Alberto, trust me, man.
Thanks, man.
But I'm glad you said that because it made me go for the book to really show you guys that it's not about. It's about, once again, it's having that preference that you have and making sure that you stick to that preference and really, understanding that, that everybody has their preference. Everybody has their way of viewing their PC and viewing their collection. And let's take it back, to the scarcity of part of it, where you have books where they're telling you, it's rare, but yet at the same time, there's no value to that book. There's nothing in there. There's no story arc. There's no, rare artists, appearance, anything. It's just because it's scarce. So that's the main thing that we need to really focus on because it's, that's what's driving this whole, low print run, adding value to it. It's the fact that they're telling you that you need to get it. It has nothing to do with the book. They're telling you, get this.
That's how it works, though. Like I said earlier, how often is it the storyline and the artwork that are truly appreciated? It doesn't happen too often. You know what I'm saying? Especially in today's market, like what Paul's saying right now. He makes a good point right now. How many people genuinely like Momoko art and how many people just like it because it's going to be worth some cash?
Exactly.
People can lie all day about that.
Exactly. But when you look at a book like Hulk 181, you know what I mean? You already know. Then Crash is laughing. You already know. Because that book is iconic. You know what I mean? That's an iconic issue.
Yeah, now. And Peach Momoko is going to be iconic a generation from now.
Of course. You know what I mean? Like every other artist that's out right now, they're going to be, like, look at Jim Lee when he first came out. Now Jim Lee is an icon. Todd McFarlane.
Wait, hold on. You can't stick Jim Lee in this same conversation, okay? Because Jim Lee actually is a great artist. So it isn't just about,
Hey, where's Thomas at? Yeah, I ain't say that. Thomas. He said it. And you all team Jvaz, right? You was all team Jvaz, right? Yeah.
Can I just say this is a great conversation and I am enjoying every minute of this. I just want to say that.
Universally speaking is what I'm saying.
This is how we talk like every day, like
every
other day on the phone.
I love
this
it,
is us right here going back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, this is the best part too, is that I always want to have, and Morbius, you and I, we have crossed where we're not agreeing on certain things.
No,
I love that. I love hearing that, and I love hearing different perspectives, and you all make great points. And one thing I wanted to add to Crash, what you were saying earlier about getting over the idea of the commercial music and what it was doing versus the hip hop underground and all that stuff, and the idea of how you just said, like, eventually you had to just get over it and you had to essentially adapt and kind of change your mindset on what you viewed, even though it wasn't necessarily like what made you happy or whatever. I think that that's one of the biggest takeaways for anybody here that's listening tonight, is that no matter what, no matter how we like or don't like how the market is or how the comic book industry as a whole is right now, it is what it is. And, you know, in order to continue enjoying it on your own terms, with the people that you want to enjoy it with, like you were saying too, like cut out the other people who are not, if they're not on your same level or your same, you know, mentality of that, you know, just surround yourself with the people who are more like-minded to where you stand. Word up. And not that you're making enemies or anything, but just respectfully, you know, you stick to who you want to stick to. So I think that's what I got. That's what I took from a lot of the things that you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you're spot on a lot of that.
And real quick, yo, Thomas Jackson, you know I'm gonna follow you, right? You know, you know I'm gonna follow you, right? And he's saying I'm not about the people, right here, man. I'm about the people.
Wait, so let me just add.
I'm showing love, bro.
With Thomas's other comment, the one that initially kind of set everything in motion. Where was it? It was
Thomas is the dude,
I just want to say, that I read this differently than how you guys read it.
Okay.
So which I thought was just interesting, and I don't know if I'm just misreading it or the way I read it was he's saying if people aren't trying to get it, then it has no value. And I understand your arguments to the points you were trying to make, Morbius. I wasn't looking at it the way you were just saying it, though. Again, I do agree with what you were saying.
Okay,
but
let me know.
The way I was looking at it was if you were to sell a book and nobody wants to buy it, then the book it doesn't have the value. Like I took it in that sense, like it's not valuable if there's literally zero people. If I have a rock, like we go back to the rock example. If I go outside and pick up a stick and just say like I have this stick and I'm going to try to sell it, if there's no one in the world that wants to buy it, then it's not worth anything. It's only worth whatever someone is willing to pay for it at the end of the day. If you're trying to sell it,
right.
It has no monetary value, but it has some sort of value to someone. So that's exactly what I read. When I read that, it says if people are not trying to get it, has no value. Yeah, it has no market value. It has no monetary value.
Right.
That's how.
But it still has value to an individual, as somebody.
Totally.
My bad.
No, you're good.
I read into it.
No, you still made but you still made good points. I just wanted to voice that in case Thomas was sitting here like, no, man, that's not what I meant. You know, like I just wanted to clarify on both sides, like. Because I don't know how he stands with what you were saying before, but I agree with what you were saying. I just took this differently. I just wanted to clarify all that real quick.
I definitely probably read into it wrong because I get excited real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I could be reading it wrong. I'm saying I could be reading it wrong. I was just letting you know how I took it. That's all.
Thomas, let us know. Thomas, let us know. Let us know. Break it down to us.
Thomas is like, I already unfollowed all three of you. So Unruly says not a huge fan of Peach, but I've seen a couple of her watercolors and they are awesome. That said, I've only bought 2 of her covers. So I mean, look, as a human being, we can't hit a home run every time.
Right, man, you can't. And like to me, look, it's like to me, I came up in an era where you had all these power elite artists coming out. You know what I mean? Not only the original creators that came, I'm talking, Burns and all these guys that we get it. These guys are fucking, but then in my early teenage years, you had Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, all these, the whole Image crew coming out, except Rob Liefeld, which Crash loves Rob Liefeld.
Yo, don't do that. Don't put that out in the ether, bro. I don't want nobody thinking that.
But you know what I mean? I think you need a couple like patches and pouches and like, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? So it's like, to me, it's like, I came up with so much amazing art, you know what I mean? That was just so detailed, so, intricate. And it's like intricate. You heard that? Intricate. I just made up a word, guys. I just made up a word.
It's a GED word, bro.
GED, right? So it's just like, that's why it's like I hold like a lot of times I hold, artists to a higher standard, which is I shouldn't do that. To be honest with you, I really shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? And like I said, it all goes back to what I like, what I feel is it's dope. You know what I mean? And going back, to some Scotty Young coming. Bro, Scotty Young.
I like Scotty Young.
Hell yeah. Crash has a lot of Scotty Young stuff.
But see, look, this is the deal. This is the deal. When it comes to Peach Momoko, see, I understand because the same thing happened with Scotty Young. There were some people that genuinely like Scotty Young, but then all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of people that jump on the bandwagon and say, "Oh, Scotty Young is the shit," but they're just saying that because they jumped on the bandwagon or because it started becoming worth something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Money. Right.
Exactly. But it goes back to that personal preference. Now I understand that if you like Scotty Young and you collect Scotty Young, all good and dandy. But I understand that the problem that Morbius has is when people jump on the Scotty Young bandwagon and don't necessarily think he's a good artist. Like the dude said before, who's buying Peach Momoko for the good art or for the value? Right. Same thing happened with Scotty Young because some of his covers I don't dig. Some of them are okay, like dude said, and some of them are eh. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a huge fan of Scotty Young, but I'm a fan of a lot of his covers. So, and that's how I put it, because just because I like a few of somebody's covers, I'm not going to automatically like everything they do. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Exactly. No, that's a good point. Unruly says here, 181 is the money book. Be contrary all you want. It's cool to see 180 catching up a little. So this again goes to preference. But as you were saying, Crash, I mean, I know we all agree on this. I am a 180 fan. I'll say I don't own either book, but if I could buy one, I mean, well, let's just say if I could buy one for the same amount of money, because I know anybody would just say, well, obviously you take the expensive book. I personally want 180 one day. Like that's a book that I absolutely want to get. I have no interest in getting 181 unless I win it and I'll give away or something like that. That's the only way I would, unless I find it in a dollar bin or whatever.
See, to me, it's different because my number one character is Hulk. That is my favorite all-time character. Everyone always thinks it's Morbius because my name is Morbius, but Morbius is my actual stage name. That's the name I took on when I was 18 years old to rap. That's like my rapping name, my MC name, is Morbius, because I was a very morbid child growing up. I always thought every day was my last day. Growing up in the Bronx in the late 70s, early 80s, the crack era, you was lucky if you made it out, sober, not a crackhead, and not in jail and not dead. You know what I mean?
Message.
So, exactly. So, and I was born and raised in the South Bronx, if anybody didn't know that, and it was a rough era. So when I was in my early teens and I read that first, when Spider-Man and Todd McFarlane started doing Spider-Man, and I saw Morbius, that's when I was really first really introduced to Morbius. You know what I mean? Was that Spider-Man cover, because my brother had already, the second appearance of Morbius. Somebody give him more. Yo, Thomas, bro. Thomas, me and you gotta have some words, bro.
You guys gotta hug it out. You guys just gotta hug it out later. That's all.
We're not fuck that. We're gonna arm wrestle it out, bro. We're gonna arm wrestle it out, bro.
But Morbius
ain't nothing sweet over here. Ain't nobody giving me hugs, nigga. I'm rough around the edges. You're gonna get cut. You're gonna start bleeding if you try to hug me, bro. We're gonna arm wrestle it out, bro. So anyway,
Morbius. So as they were saying about 181, about he's saying that's the high value book, despite our opinions on this, it goes back to saying, okay, the market has spoken. We have our own personal opinions here, but the market has already dictated that 181 is the shit right now over 180. Okay, and again,
the market I can right. The masses, yes.
The masses, right. So the best example I can give always is back to a hip hop example. Okay, I'm not a fan of anything that Puff Daddy has done to this very day. I don't understand why I do understand. I understand the commercial market, but as far as artistic integrity and the skill set of that, what a hip hop artist brings to the table, I didn't see Puffy having any of that. The fact that he got so hyped up is something that bothered me a lot. But like I said with the 181, the market has already spoken. Puff Daddy is a hip hop icon. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what the market dictated.
Look at this guy. The best proportion.
That has to be a joke. Hey, Vincent, I know you're not serious, bro.
Nah, he's joking, bro. He's joking.
He has to be, yeah.
You saw that Captain America, right? You said, I saw that Captain America, so I ain't even gonna go there with that Captain America.
Hey, listen, now that you brought that up, Morbius, the worst cover that I've ever seen was the remake of Captain America when Liefeld did the cover. That's terrible.
Hell yeah, so I'm out of it. But
his chest is all.
Chest is like out here and shit. But my thing is this.
Draws the best speed.
They look like ballerina feet. He draws ballerina.
We got some comedians here tonight.
He got ballerina feet. Yo, just play, bro. Alberto, man, come on now. We got nothing but love here. It's all love here, man. Definitely, bro. Beauty is in the house.
He's right.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people that love life, though.
It's like Justin. Justin doesn't care about 181. I do. Why? Because Hulk is my #1 guy. And I'm a completist, and I'm almost done with my Hulk run, and I need that 181 to complete my run.
And that I get too. The completist part, I get that too. For anyone
completist, so if I start, that's my problem too. When I start collecting, a #1, even Crash was getting on me. I need to chill. You know what I mean? Because it's like, just because I get the #1 of a book and I'm not really that interested, all of a sudden I'm like, but I gotta get the #2, then I gotta get the #3, and I gotta get the #4, and I don't even read the damn books, because I just have to complete it. But going back to Hulk 181, I gotta have that in my stash. Me personally, I love the book. You know what I mean? Because I'm such a big fan of Hulk, and I'm a big fan of Wolverine. So it's like I gotta have that to finish my run, and it just big raging. And to me, it's like, it all goes back to that, to the preference. All goes back to the preference. I don't care what anybody says. It all goes back to the collector's preference.
No, it is. You're right. Absolutely, it is the preference. Because for me, I could give two shits about 181, but I have a full run of Wolverine Volume 1. I have every single Wolverine comic book from his first run. I'm a huge Wolverine fan.
Yes, you do. I know. I saw it.
You see what I'm saying? But as far as 181, I'm good.
Thank you, man.
You're not so big on Hulk, and I am. You know that. That's my #1 dude. You know what I mean?
Right. And again, that's like you said, it comes down to preference. I know. I remember I made you the shirt with the Hulk 181 thing.
You already know, bro. He's the one that got me the shirt.
Desired right there. Passion we have.
Yo, shout out to Desired Nigel, my brother. Salute to you, man.
We're hitting the 5-minute mark. Just want to let you boys know I do have to jump in 5 just for our for my other show that I got. But this is great.
Hey, listen, guys, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, yo.
Yeah, follow, please. Follow Crash on Instagram. He puts a lot of stuff out. And for those of you who are interested in any type of artwork, graphic design, hit him up, because he did my last album, and he does a lot of stuff for me. We work a lot together. He's actually working on my YouTube intro to keep it 100 right now. He's actually working on artwork for my YouTube intro. So,
and hopefully I can work on Justin's too.
Oh,
I see what you did there.
There you go.
I respect the hustle, man. I respect the hustle.
Little plug right there, you know what I'm saying? But man, but one thing, definitely, guys, follow, and everybody that's in this chat room. But best believe me, I'm gonna follow you, and we could talk about Peach Momoko. But yeah, so Justin, the man over here, the $1 million man right now, because this guy got like 15 shows a week. And how much time we got? We got about 2 minutes left.
Yeah, we just wrapping up.
We got 3 minutes. 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes. 1 minute. Now we're down almost to 1 minute. Yeah. And but yeah, man. Once again, Crash, thank you for a great show.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. I can really go through with you guys.
Thank you. I already anticipated what was gonna happen. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that we have such a very personal and close relationship. So I already knew this was gonna go down. So that's why I was looking forward to this. And Justin, I'm happy that you could witness this and get to know Crash. And,
hey, Morbius isn't lying when he says that we have these conversations all the time. What you guys witness here tonight, this is at least once a week between me and Morbius on the phone.
Yo, I kid you not. We go at it, you know what I mean? Every day. Yeah. But that's why I love my brother, because he's quick to check me, just like I'm quick to check him. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And we keep each other on point, man. And we keep each other, how can I say, in reality. You know what I mean? We bring each other back to reality, and we let each other know, like, hey, man, I noticed this, I noticed that, brother. You need to chill with that. I think you know, it's not that crazy. You know, I know that this is such and such. You're spending a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So it really helps to have somebody in your corner that's to support you and to help guide you in this game, you know. And of course, like I said, he got like the crazy spider senses when it comes to these like key issues. So, and he was going back to that Pacelli. Let's go back to that Pacelli, because how much is that Pacelli worth that you picked up and sent me like 3 years ago?
At one point, it went up to $1,000.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it was one of those very limited issues,
limited print.
So right now I think it's going like for 500 right now. It's like anywhere from like 500.
Yeah, it's depending on where you go, different prices.
Where you go, it's like $500 to like $300 depending where you go. But that's what I'm talking about, you know.
Thomas,
Thomas, thank you so much for that, man.
Thanks,
I really
Thomas.
appreciate you, man. We love you, and like I said, guys, please show love, sub up Crash if please, and show and follow him on Instagram, man, because the brother got a lot of dope stuff. And sometimes I'll be wondering, like, yo, bro, I know why you don't show your X-Men stuff, man. You don't. This guy got like anything that has an X in it.
I have a huge X-Men collection, a huge.
Let me just say,
I also have the complete run of X-Men Volume 1, the 1 through 207.
Hold on a second. Crash got Volume 2 complete, Volume 3 complete, Volume 4 complete, Volume 5 complete, Volume 6 complete, and he's working on Volume 7 that's out now.
That's wild.
You know what I mean? This man is
and all the
insane.
one-shot issues, you know, like the X-Men with the blockbuster video, the X-Men in the Texas State Fair. I have all those X-Men books.
Yo,
that's
he got
fire.
some, anyway. That's why I was like, Justin, you would love Crash, because this guy is like a monster with X-Men, man.
Dude, Crash, man, you got to swing by our show. So 9 o'clock, it's every 9 o'clock Tuesday. After this, me and my buddy John's Comics with Kids, who was in the chat before, we do a show called Omni X-Men, where we take the well, we're on the first volume right now. I just grabbed the second, but the first volume of Claremont stuff from the 70s, and we both got it at the same time. It was our first omnibus, so he and I decided, let's start a show where every episode we break down one issue from the omnibus, and we just go in order. So we started this just a couple months ago. We're almost through the first volume now.
Yeah, man.
But if you ever get a chance, you want to swing by, or if you want to be a guest one day, we literally just talk about the issue. It's no speculation, no nothing. Like, we just talk about the content of the book, what we think of it, what we thought of, like, last week's issue and this week's, how it ties in, the artwork.
Definitely. And mad props on that omnibus. If it wasn't for the fact that I had all the individual issues, I probably would have got that omnibus.
Totally. I was to say, you have some years on me in collecting, so that's the only way I can keep up with you. You know what I'm saying? But listen, guys, we'll wrap this up. Crash, thank you so much. We'll definitely have you on again at some point. Morbius, as always, I love you, brother. Thanks for doing this with me.
Justin.
You already know, man.
You already know.
We had 20 people in this 20 plus people the entire time. Appreciate everybody in the chat that caught this live. If you're watching the replay, thank you for taking that time to watch the replay. I do have people reach out saying that they take the time to watch it after, so that means so much to me.
Oh my God! Thank you so much to everybody. I really got to say that real quick. Thank you so much to everybody that's tuning in, because we put a lot of work in this, and it's not easy. You know what I mean? We all got lives. We all put aside the time to do this. So thank you so much. Everybody watching the replay, shout out to you. And man, Justin, you already know, my brother. Crash, you already know.
Yep. All right,
thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
Hit that thumbs up. We'll catch you guys next week.
Peace.